Okay. So, oh, I had notes here. Where did they go? Oops. First, I was just going to welcome Jessica because she is sort of my newest coach, and there she is. So, welcome. She was on our call. Oh, the new coach call last night. I was like, I swear we were just on a call, but she jumped on that, and she just kind of got started within the last couple of weeks, but has gone through like every training I have given her, like at lightning speed, and kind of taken it all in, and just received her first challenge pack. So she's just in prep week right now. So she's sort of brand new to like everything, which is exciting and overwhelming. And so I'm excited to see where this will take her. And I wanted to just do some SC shout outs. So a few people aren't on this call, but I'll just shout them out anyway. So Courtney Bringley's at Success Club 4. Tracy Brill is at Success Club 2. Miranda's at 4. Jessica, who is, I believe, one of Elaine's, that's your discount coach, right? Yeah. She's at Success Club 2. Her mom bought a challenge pack from her. Diana is at Success Club 2. Linda's at 2. And that's all for now, I think. This was just updated, or this was just what was showing in my back office. So anything really from today and onward wouldn't be showing. But yeah, that's awesome. Like lots of points on the board. Still tons of time to get to Success Club 5 or 10. And hopefully sort of what I chat about today might just kind of help us out a little bit as well. And Miranda added 2 coaches this week to her team. So that's like really, really exciting. So I know it's kind of been a tough month. It's been a tough couple months, I think. And I think a lot of it for me had to do with the all access, like we talked about, and how we were trying to push the all access when really we should just sort of go back to the basics and go back to what has always worked for us and just selling the base challenge pack. And since that realization, and since I went back to that, which was only like, a week ago or so, we jumped on that call with Michelle, I feel just back to where I was, and kind of the momentum's going again. So it's been sort of a tough month, but I don't know. I'm like really super proud of you guys for all still being here and still like pushing. And you guys are sending me like your activity tracker or whatever we want to call that. And you guys are sending me that, and just really staying accountable and supporting one another in the group chat. And I just think it's awesome that everyone's still in this, and it just shows that we all believe in this and what it can do, and we're still willing to push through the suck, as I like to say it, and still really push through it because it's there. Like we can all get there if we want it. So I also wanted to touch just a little bit quickly on Super Saturday. I think most of us are going. Jessica, do you know what Super Saturday is? No? Okay. So this is a quarterly Beachbody event. So it happens like 4 times a year, and there's events run all over North America. So the closest event to us is in Toronto, and we have gone kind of as a team the last few Super Saturdays. Like I think our first one that we went to was in October. I think it was the first one that I had been to as well too, just because I'd been pregnant and babies and all that stuff. So, but they're just really, really awesome events on either a Saturday or a Sunday, depending if it's Super Saturday or Super Sunday. And there's always like a guest speaker there and like messages from corporate. And it's just a chance to get together with like a ton of Beachbody coaches, local Beachbody coaches. So this time in Toronto, Autumn is actually coming. Like Autumn from the 21 Day Fix is going to be there. So it's going to be a really exciting one. So Jessica, if you want to come with us, I know it's kind of last minute. It's April, I don't even know, 9th, 8th, 9th. It's April 9th. And we always go down the day before, and we've got like a bunch of hotel rooms, and we can fit you in. Like, I don't even think my room is all filled up. Like I think there's still space in my room. So we all go down on Saturday and we just like hang out in the hotel. We have drinks and food and, do dinner and stuff. And then we all go to the event on Sunday. And it's just an awesome, awesome event. And everyone sort of walks away from these events with like just sort of a newfound passion for the business. And it's just been proven that the coaches that go to these events are the ones that are successful because they're just taking in that whole vibe, and it's awesome. And there's supposed to be a really big announcement being made actually this Super Saturday, which I don't know. Actually, as I was just jumping on this call, Michelle was saying something that she heard somewhere that she thinks it's a new product, like a new.
I think that I really think the tickets are sold out.
Oh, are they?
Mm-hmm. Because I think Sonia's new coach, Tina, wanted to go.
Oh, shoot.
And Sonia's been looking for a ticket for her because of autumn coming, their tickets are sold out. I think.
Crap.
I just talked to Sonia about that today.
Well, I wonder, my coach Laura, who was in our message thread for a little bit, she was coming and then not going and then coming. Now she's not coming, and she has a ticket.
Yeah, so I mean, like,
I wonder if it's
sure we could like post somewhere if anybody has, because I even said to Sonia, like, there might be people that have bought tickets and then last minute they're not going to be able to go.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Well, yeah, Jessica, if it is something you want to do, we'll figure out a way to make it happen. So.
Okay, I'll definitely look into it as well. I'll keep keep it posted in my calendar and everything, and we'll keep talking about it.
Yeah, see if you think that you can make it happen. We're usually gone for like 24 hours when it's all said and done, but we carpool down there together, and it's just it's fun. And it might seem like we all know each other, but the Super Saturday in October. It was October, right? That was sort of like the first time we all met each other, and we all like met at different like little carpool spots and jumped in a car together. And like, some people came first thing in that morning and other people came the night before, but we hadn't met each other, and we all shared rooms. But because we talk all the time, it just, I don't know, it seems like we do know each other. So don't feel like you are the odd man out not actually knowing anyone yet. So
it's a good thing I'm sociable. It's okay.
There you go. Okay, so before I launch into my whole topic, which is all about challenge groups, and I've had this conversation with a few coaches just in the past couple weeks, so I just thought I would kind of talk about it a little bit here. If you are finding yourself not hitting Success Club, and you really can't figure out why, because you're sending out invites every single day and you're out there messaging people and you're posting and you just still aren't hitting it, I want you to take a really good gut check and just ask yourself if you are being product of the product. Because I know this can get lost in us like so easily, but really we have to be working on ourselves. Like we really, really do. And anytime I've sort of fallen off business-wise, I know that it's because something is lacking in those very simple, vital behaviors, which is usually my nutrition is like totally off and I've fallen off the wagon, or I'm not even really working out, or I'm not doing my personal development. One of those things or all of them are completely off. So just ask yourself, are you really showing up for yourself and doing what you need to do? Because it's hard to be talking about these products when you're maybe not even feeling like confident about being in your own skin. And that's not to say you have to be at your goals at all, but if you are working towards your goals, you should feel pretty confident about that. And if you're seeing yourself going in the right direction and just making progress, but if you've kind of taken a step back and you're kind of like, oh God, I'm not doing anything, I'm not working out, I'm eating like crap, and I'm not really reading my personal development, it's going to be hard for you to ever hit Success Club, because how are you even able to have that passion when you're talking to people about these programs and the products, right? So, and you kind of lose credibility too with the people who are watching you. Like if you aren't able to consistently sort of share your progress, whether that's transformation pictures, or if it's just like, you know, I was able to do more push-ups than I did last time I did this program, or, you know, I'm lifting heavier weights, those sort of progressions. Cause like, seriously, I do not care. I don't care if you ever get into a bathing suit again. Like that's not what this is about. It's just making progress for yourself in whatever way that is. But if you can't be, if you're not showing that to people because it's not happening, like that's a really big part of why you're not hitting Success Club probably. And it could be a lot of other things. But if you're really like, okay, I'm inviting and I'm posting and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, just there's got to be something that's off. That's just my suggestion, is just to really look at that, because anyone that I've talked to about this, it's sort of come out, okay, yeah, you're right. I've totally fallen off the wagon and I don't have a transformation that I could share right now. So just kind of do a little bit of a gut check. Okay, so running effective challenge groups. The reason why I decided to do this talk tonight is because I will be honest, and I've kind of gotten really lame in my challenge groups. I've gotten into the habit of copying and pasting, like just reschedule, because it's very, very easy to do that. So I have totally gotten caught up in that, and I was feeling it happening, but I was like, oh, who cares? There's new people in this group. They haven't seen some of this stuff. And I just really didn't take it upon myself to kind of spice up my challenge groups at all. And then it just kind of dawned on me the last week or so, like, I really need to be giving these people like an awesome experience. And so I decided to spend like a couple days and look through some YouTube videos and just watch some training and get some ideas on kind of just how other people are running really effective challenge groups. And then I decided, well, I might as well share it all with you guys in a call instead of like typing it out all the time. So that's why we're going to do this call. And I also asked my challengers, like I was just kind of honest with them, like, what do you guys like about this challenge group? Because we're in the last week of my old challenge group. So I have a prep week starting right now, but my February challenge group is wrapping up this week. So I just was very honest with them, like, hey, what do you guys like about this? What are you guys sick of? What, if I'm looking to change things up, what would you guys want to see? So I did get some really good feedback, which I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to implement as well in my coming challenge group. So even ask your challengers, like, what do they like about your groups? And, you know, ask for some honest feedback. And if they would rather send you a private message just to let you know maybe what's not working that well, you know, let them know that that's okay. So do you feel like your challenge groups are successful? And I would love to like hear you guys actually answer that. And just be honest, like, do you, like, if you think you run awesome challenge groups, like, put your hand up. Like, but what do you guys, like, how do you guys feel about your challenge groups? Like, are they okay? Are they like awesome? Do you put tons of effort into them? Or have you kind of gotten into the copy paste? Elaine, are you okay? Elaine, you okay?
There's a massive spider. Sorry.
Okay, so Linda, how do you think your challenge groups are?
I think there's definitely lots of room for improvement. I think the first week, like, they're always like the energy and the interaction is good, but then I feel like weeks 2 and 3 it always ends up dying off, and I don't know why. And maybe it's like I've been trying to post as well, and I'm guilty of doing the copy and paste, but I do, like, I find that I'm repetitive of it just because I have been using different posts from different challenge groups and like different sources of, I don't know, like off the internet or whatever. So they're not, they are, pretty copy and paste. And then I find that once I'm like, if it's quiet and I, send a message like, hey, like, did nobody work out? Like, where's your selfies? Or like, nobody's eating dinner. Then you sort of get the feedback or like the post, but it's always, I find the same people, right?
Yeah.
So, but then there's others that will like private message as well. So I don't know. I want to learn how.
Hanging out with Daddy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to chime in about their challenge groups? Like how you feel about them?
Mine's getting boring. Like I'm bored.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe that's why I'm like off of my nutrition and off of things, because I'm bored in them. I can't seem to commit to my own challenge groups. Like it's awful.
A million spices. Oh my God.
Oh boy. Okay.
I think that might be Cassie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey Cassie, do you want to just mute?
Sorry.
Yeah, Elaine, you're probably right. Like, and yeah, trust me, I've been there too, where I'm like bored of my own challenge groups. And that's the thing, we need to constantly be figuring out how to like keep them alive, and not just for the people that are in them, but for us too, right? Because that's what we're doing every single month, is running challenge groups. And if we get bored of running challenge groups, we're in trouble, because that's our business. Like, that's how we do this business. There's really no other way for us to support people. Like, if you're not running challenge groups, you're not really building a business or being a coach, really. So they are literally the bread and butter of this business, our challenge groups. So we have to kind of always be looking at ways to improve them and change them up and make them more exciting. And we can't just constantly do the same thing over and over and over again, which is what I've started to realize just in the last week or so. So I'm like totally there with you guys, and just feeling like I need to start kind of step it up a little bit again in there. Anyone else want to say how their challenge groups are?
I find too, especially for the repeat challengers, right? Like ones that are every month in the group, right? Because I find a lot of times they're like, a lot of them I don't hear from, right? Very much anymore, because it's like maybe they're bored as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna add in that I only had like two or three new people on this one. So I was like, okay, I'll keep a lot of the same content, but I'll switch up like what it looks like and just try to keep it easy for myself, because I'm having a really busy month. But then I found like, it was like kind of losing momentum. So like I knew a couple of the girls were going on vacation. So I looked up a bunch of things about keeping fit while you travel, or keeping on your nutrition while you travel. And so or even with March break, everybody else was going to be off schedule, right? So I did a lot of those kind of posts, and then I'd hear somebody talk about like, oh, I got home late, I don't know if I'll be able to fit my workout in. So how do you like fit it in with a busy schedule? And then just me doing the research and finding those posts and knowing they tailored to exactly what they're going through, like made it come alive for me a little more. So I was starting to feel like it was, like, I think even my third one where it was kind of scheduled, and that's why I love the tracker, because I can schedule it ahead of time more and it can work better. But yeah, as soon as I would hear somebody make a comment about a certain topic, I would kind of run with it for a post or two. Or
yeah, that's a really good idea. That's really good. Okay, so a good way to kind of see if your challenge groups are being effective or not, are they engaging? And are they kind of staying engaged throughout the entire challenge group? Are your challengers getting results? That's a huge one. Like, that's a really, really big one. Of course, it is not our responsibility, and it's not up to us if they get results or not, but we can play a bit of a role in that. Like, someone's success is never going to be because of me, but their failure is never going to be because of me either. So we as coaches need to do everything that we can do in order for them to see the success. Of course, it's going to be up to them 100%, but having your challengers see success is a pretty good indication that you're doing a really good job, and your challenge group is probably somewhat effective. And are you having constant success stories roll out of those challenge groups? Like, do you have, some transformations that you could share from your challenge groups? Obviously with their permission, but hopefully you are. And now that you guys have done this for a little while now, and you've ran a few challenge groups, the people who were in your initial one should sort of have like a really good physical transformation now that they can see if they've done this for a few months now. Because in 21 days you aren't going to see drastic results necessarily, but if they continue on with you for 2-3 months, they should have a good transformation now if they were your original challengers. So that's what I'm finding now is a lot of my challengers who have been with me for months, they are now sending me their photos, and they're like so excited by what they see. And I know because they've been sticking with it sort of month after month after month. So that's kind of a good indication that you are supporting them and, running things somewhat effectively. Of course, I think we always can be improving on our challenge groups content for sure. So our job is to help them get the best results and to paint a vision for their first finish line. I read that somewhere, I don't know where, but so paint a vision for their first finish line, because there's going to be so many finish lines for them, but that first challenge group, they might not hit their goal in that challenge group. Like, not many people do hit their goal in the first challenge group. So we need to help them paint a vision for that first goal. What is it going to be? Is it 5 pounds? Is that going to be their first goal? We need to help them hit that in that first challenge group. So that's them seeing success. So sort of each challenge group is another set of goals for that person who maybe has 15, 20, 25 pounds or even more to lose. Help them kind of set small goals and show them that. So your challenge groups, like I talk about all the time, are sort of your funnel for coaches. I really think that before you can build a solid team of your own, you really need to sort of master the challenge groups, and you need to master having challengers and hitting Success Club and that sort of thing. Because the challenge group really is where you're going to find awesome coaches, because they believe in the product. They have a really good relationship with you. They've seen a transformation. So it's very natural for them to start sharing that with other people. So, that's why some people get really hung up on the coaching invites. And I was talking to someone today about this, and they were really struggling with inviting to coaching. And, and this person hasn't even hit Success Club yet. And I thought, well, you really shouldn't be worrying about coaches at this point. Like, really focus on challengers right now, because you need to hit Success Club. You need to get them into a challenge group, and then you can start to work on, maybe sort of converting them over to a coach as they move through. But really, your main goal at this point needs to be finding challengers and getting them in there. So here are some tips that, that I think will help us all in sort of running somewhat effective challenge groups. So always have a date, which I think we're all really good at this, but always have a start date and sort of be able to funnel that into the next month. So even if someone said they were interested in starting in June, you would sort of have a little bit of a ballpark of when your challenge group in June would start. So if you're someone that's always running them at the beginning of the month, that will always sort of fall into place, that system. Your challenge group is just always going to start at the beginning of the month. Mine have always started the end of the month. So every challenge group just always naturally starts then. So I always have a date. I always have something that I can invite to. I'm not waiting until 2 weeks before my challenge group to start inviting people. I'm always inviting. Like today I was talking to someone about a challenge group. I've already started this challenge group. So unless she ordered like tonight or tomorrow, I wouldn't be throwing her in this one, because I know it takes a couple days for someone to commit, at least for the most part, but I still am inviting her to my next challenge group, because I do have a next challenge group. We all do, right? So if you can sort of have that date in mind, you can always be inviting and just constantly. And it's not something that you do just 2 weeks before your start date, that you start like, oh gosh, I better start inviting. It's just something that we should always be doing. Have a theme for your challenge group. So this is just something I started doing just recently, and I'm still not that great at it, but have a theme for your challenge group. Instead of it just being a challenge group, I did Mummy Makeover, and that was sort of what they talked about at our last Super Saturday was having it as a theme sort of towards your niche market. So I did do one the next month, and it was Mommy Makeover. So I really geared it towards moms, and the posts had a lot to do with like kids and just that sort of thing. Although it was hard for me because I was in the habit of copying and pasting. So I was like copying my old post from the old challenge group, which had nothing to do with moms. And I was like, oh gosh, I need to find more posts about mom stuff because I promised this was going to be about moms. So it's hard to kind of get into that habit, but I think it's a really good idea just to sort of have a theme with your group, or even just like a fun little name for it, like Summer Strong, or my one right now is Spring into Fitness, I think. So just always have like kind of a fun name to be talking about on your page for the challenge group. And then there's always a question about how long should these challenge groups be. So since the All Access rolled out, I was making them 30-day challenges plus a week-long prep week. This one that I started today, this week, I've decided to go back to making it just 21 days. And because some of the feedback that I got from my past challengers was that it felt a little long, and that they had a hard time sticking to the challenge for that long of time, that they were almost kind of like sick of it and didn't really stick to it near the end. Whereas, and like, because we want them to be making a lifestyle out of it, but I almost think they need that little break in between challenge groups, because mine were starting to roll right on into the next one. Like literally their day 30 would finish, and then they would be put right into week 1 of my current group. So there was never a period of like no challenge group for them. And I think they need that kind of 7 days off to just kind of prove to themselves that maybe they do need the support, and that the challenge group did help them stay on track, because for the most part, they tend to fall off the wagon a little bit in that week off, which is good to show them that they need our support, and that, they can't really go at this on their own and they need us. So that's a good thing. And it kind of gets them back into the challenge group with like a renewed enthusiasm and kind of like, okay, I'm ready to focus again and I'm ready to do this, instead of just constant rolling right into the next one, if that makes sense at all. Because I know for me too, I almost need that, like, I fell off the wagon this weekend. I'm so ready for Monday, ready to get back to day 1. Like, it just kind of gets you pumped up again. And then, of course, how are you running your challenge group? Are you doing it on Facebook, or are you doing it on the app? I don't think there is a perfect answer for that. It's really whatever you feel comfortable with. I definitely prefer the app now that I am using it, just for a ton of different reasons. I just find it's more professional looking than Facebook. And I like that it keeps all the posts in order, because I'm very type A and I like things organized. Whereas on Facebook, it sort of gets all in a disarray and the posts get all down to the bottom and some posts get missed. I just really like the simplicity and the cleanliness of the app. And I don't know, I like the professionalism of it, of inviting them to something off of Facebook, and I like that it keeps me off of Facebook too. I find that I'm wasting a lot less time because I was on Facebook so much and then checking into all my groups on Facebook, whereas now I can kind of stick to Messenger on Facebook and then be in the app for all my other groups, which is kind of nice. But again, it's totally up to you and whatever you are comfortable with. And actually, I ended up canceling my Sendables account because I really wasn't using it anymore. Now that I've changed all my groups over to the app, I was paying for this Sendables that I really was never using. So it's a good way to kind of cut out a cost too that we were using. I know you guys, a lot of you had the $9 a month fee, which is not too bad, but I was paying like 50 something a month for it. So I canceled that, which is kind of nice to save a little bit of money. So prep week, I assume you guys are all doing a prep week just because you guys have all sort of learned from my challenge groups, and I did that. So I'm assuming you guys are doing prep week. And this is probably the most important week of the challenge group, I think. And this current challenge group, I've changed a few things with my prep week because, again, I was copying and pasting and just rescheduling everything from my prep week that I did a year ago even. Well, I have more knowledge now than I did a year ago, and just things have changed, and I talk differently than I did a year ago. So it's kind of important to update your posts and just get out of the easy peasy, get it done, get your people added it, and let the group run itself sort of thing, which I fell into for sure. Really take time to know these people's goals. Really, really know their goals. I was speaking to someone, and she sort of mentioned that she is worried about getting overwhelmed with everything in the challenge group. And to be honest, maybe a couple months ago, I would have sort of let that roll off and been just kind of like, oh, you can do it. You're going to do great. This is so amazing. But it was yesterday, and I kind of took a step back, and I read her message again, and I read it really kind of slowly, and I took in her words, what she was saying to me, instead of just going through the motions of typing. And I said to her, if this gets overwhelming for you, then you need to only do what you can do. And I said to her, only focus on your nutrition. Don't even worry about the workouts then. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I was stressing about having to do my workouts, and I haven't worked out in 20 years, and the nutrition is enough to worry about. So just really taking time to understand their goals and kind of where they're at in their own journey so that you can support them. Because maybe I would have lost her in prep week even if I didn't take that time to really understand what she's worried about. So in my introduction post, I wanted to hear from them, like where they're from and what their 30-day goal is. So not their big goal, just their 30-day goal. And also what they're most worried about, or their biggest fear for this challenge group. So that is something that I want to remember. Like, what is their biggest fear? Because that's going to be something that's sort of going to hold them back in the challenge group. And that's what they end up might failing at, like whatever that fear is. So I took that and I copied and pasted it right into my Teamsy, because you have that note section. So I just took like 5 minutes and just copied everyone's response, threw it in Teamsy. And then that way, when I am checking in on them later on in the week, I can quickly look at that and say, okay, that's what she was worried about. So I want to touch on that. Like, how is that going? Is that something that you're still concerned about? And that's not something I was doing previously. I was just going through the motions in the challenge group, right? So I wasn't taking that time, which I think is really important for the success of our challengers. Okay, and then I also did some videos, updated videos. I had really, really old videos, and I decided to really focus on the nutrition part of the challenge. I think we talk about the workouts a lot, and we reinforce the workouts and make sure you get your workout in, and when are you going to work out? But really, the workouts are great, but if you cannot get your nutrition in check, you're not going to see results. And I think a lot of people come into this challenge for the workouts and think, oh, I'm going to get this new body by working out. And that's not the case at all. Like, it really is nutrition. 80% is nutrition, right? So I did a video all about sort of the containers and going through the meal plan guide, because now people are, if they're ordering the Beachbody On Demand, they're getting everything right then on Beachbody On Demand. So they start looking at the workouts and they're playing around with that, and they might look at the meal plan a little bit, but I don't think they're getting how serious the meal plan is. And then, a week later down the road, they get their Shakeology in their little stack of containers and a little eating plan guide. And they're probably pumped for the Shakeology. So they grab the Shakeology. And some of them I don't think are really looking at the rest of the stuff. That's sort of the vibe that I got in my last group, is that they weren't really, the value wasn't being placed on the nutrition part of things, which could have been my mistake. So this time I'm really sort of making I'm just trying to really enforce the nutrition part more on them.
Megan, do they get an eating guide with the, like, what type of eating plan comes with the All Access?
It's like I think it has Autumn on it. I don't know for sure, but it's basically like the 21-day fix eating plan. It's just an updated version, but it does walk them through like
the containers and
that
sort of thing. Okay, because I didn't know if it came with that. So some people I've been like trying to explain to, like, go find the eating plan of the I don't know. Just seems a bit confusing.
And I do tell them to make sure they look at the eating plan of the specific program that they're going to use, because it could be a little bit different. That's why I think the All Access is super confusing. And I think that's why some of my challengers, the last challenge group, really kind of haven't gotten results, because I don't think they were following the nutrition program. I think because it was not in their face, like it is when you get the 21-day fix program and it all comes together and you can't do anything until you get that program in the mail. Whereas All Access,
you have everything with the program. And then I find that if they, like, you know, commit to those 21 days, then I totally see the reasoning behind, like, that call. Have them do the one program and then offer the All Access.
Yeah.
Like, that totally makes sense to me now, but
I know.
I don't know.
I know. It makes total sense to me too. Like, I just think the All Access Beachbody on Demand is very confusing for new people. And I think they're getting lost in the workout part of it, because it's just so exciting and it's shiny and new. And they're forgetting about the nutrition part of it. I think for me, I feel like that's,
like, I've had a few challengers too that they can't really stick to a workout program. They're jumping around. They'll do one for a week and they'll say that they're going to commit, but then they're really not. So really, they're not really going to see results because they're not really committing to that one program. Whereas, like, when I first bought my 21-day fix, like, I was so excited. I read the whole thing. You know, I read everything that came with it, and, you know, had the DVDs, and I really committed to that.
Yeah.
So I can see the difference.
Yeah, for sure. So I did a video about that. I also did a video today just about Shakeology, and because I did have an old video of me making Shakeology in my kitchen, and those are great too, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about making Shakeology, and if you don't like it right away, this could be why. You know, just our taste buds change, and it's all natural, that's why. Also, I touched a little bit on just some Shakeology misconceptions, and I went into a little bit about the whole protein shake versus Shakeology, and, you know, why so many people are drinking protein shakes, but they really don't even know why they're drinking a protein shake, and they don't even need to be drinking a protein shake. So I went into that a little bit too. Like, I didn't even have any notes. I was outside with my son and I just did this video. So I'm trying to do more of that natural, just like sharing what I know, because, you know, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. So I do feel like I have a lot to offer, which maybe I wasn't sharing in my past challenge groups because I was rescheduling, copying and pasting. And now I feel like I've researched a ton about Shakeology, and I know a lot more about nutrition, and I have sort of better expertise on helping people, and I need to really keep updating that stuff for my challengers. Okay, so back to running an effective challenge group. Why it is so important to run such a good challenge group. For one, these people have invested money. So we can't give them just like kind of a half-ass like challenge group, right? Like we want to give them a really kick-ass challenge group, something that they think is like so awesome. They can't believe that this is what they got and that they're in this and this is so cool. So we really want them to be excited about what you have to offer and kind of the environment that they're in. We genuinely want to help them. Like we want them to get results, or we should want them to get results. So that should be kind of our goal throughout the challenge group as well, and not just kind of getting in this, like going through the challenge group and posting and checking in. Like we should really want these people to get awesome results. Like we want to invest in them as much as they've invested in us, basically. Also, if these people don't end up wanting to be a coach on our team, these challengers, if you give them an amazing challenge group, either they are going to want to become a coach because it's just fun to become a coach, or they're going to refer people to you. Odds are one or two, like either one of those things is going to happen. But if it's a crappy challenge group, they're just going to kind of walk away, right? But if it is a really good challenge group, they're either going to become a coach or they're going to send more people to you. And that is sort of how you get this business rolling, is by word of mouth. So it's really important that we are doing an awesome job with these challenge groups. Make it a goal to transition 2 challengers to coaches each challenge group. So I got this from Melanie Mitro, and I thought that's a really, really good tip and a good thing to kind of strive for each challenge group. So two coaches from each challenge group. And not that they have to be brand new challengers, like maybe it's past challengers. I'm actually talking to a couple girls right now who have been in my challenge groups like for at least 6 months probably. And they're now thinking about becoming a coach. And I've talked to them about it like every month. And now like they're honestly thinking about becoming a coach. So I'm like, okay, that's awesome. If I can get these 2 girls, like there's my 2 challengers from this challenge group. And I started to kind of think like that's a really good goal to have, is each challenge group kind of pull two coaches from that group, whether they're brand new or like previous challengers. So that's what I'm going to start to kind of make as one of my goals. And if you're a newer coach, I know Danielle and Jessica, obviously Jessica, this doesn't really apply to you quite yet, but the sooner you can start running your own challenge group, the better. I think I never ran a challenge group with Michelle. She never even offered. Like it just wasn't even, we just didn't do that. I just started running my challenge group. I actually was in one of her old challenge groups, and I remember like copying and pasting some of her stuff and thinking, if she ever found out, I would be so embarrassed. Like I never would have admitted to her back then that I took her stuff, but of course that's what she wanted me to do, but I didn't know that at the time. So the sooner that you can run your own challenge group, the better, because you will step up as a leader. You're almost forced to get uncomfortable and become a leader. If you keep kind of hiding in the coattails of the person you're running the challenge group with, you're just never really going to push yourself out, and you're never going to really be forced to find challengers. I always had to find challengers because I ran a challenge group every single month. And I wasn't going to not have challengers in that group. So I like invited my ass off and really put myself out there to fill that challenge group, because it was only me that was going to fill it. I had no choice. Even if you only have 4 people or 3 people, run a challenge group. Just because mine has like 50 people in it right now, I've been doing it for 2 years. So if you have a very small challenge group starting out, that is okay. And I think that's great, because you can really work with these people and really assist them almost one-on-one to get to their goals. So that's really cool. And those initial challengers, those are the ones you want to see success, because they are going to tell their friends. And that's going to sort of trickle into kind of your funnel and getting more people interested in your challenge groups, because their friends had killer results from doing a challenge group with you. I kind of like repeated that stuff. Okay. So I used to not check in with my challengers during prep week. I would always check in with them like the day I added them in, make sure they're in. And then I would always sort of check in with them on Sunday night. What I did this week, and because for the last several months, I've had a lot of new challengers. Like my Success Club points were like getting really, really high every month. So I was having a lot of new challengers, almost to the point where I couldn't handle that many new challengers. I couldn't support them. So now I think because of the All Access, my Success Club points have kind of, like my new challengers have dwindled a little bit. So I'm only bringing in a smaller number of challengers, which I'm kind of enjoying, because for me, I don't care if I have the most Success Club points on the board. Like Michelle is she likes having, all the Success Club points, and she is competitive that way. I actually really don't care. I want to hit Success Club 10 for sure. But I think the smaller number of challengers you have each month, the easier it is to support them. So this month, because I only had a few new challengers in my challenge group, I took the time yesterday and today to private message them. They've only been in for a couple of days, but I just want to make sure that they're doing okay. It's only day 2 of prep week, but how are they doing? Have they gotten their challenge pack yet? Because I was finding when I would check in on them on Sunday night, and maybe they got their challenge pack 5 days before, they hadn't even started Shakeology yet. They hadn't even read the meal plan yet. They hadn't even checked into the group yet, or they hadn't got groceries yet. So I find I'm wanting to stay in a little bit closer connection with them, especially in prep week, so that they're really getting started right. Because I think if they don't get started right in prep week, they kind of don't ever get started right. So I've been checking in just a little bit sooner than I normally would. And then something else that I'm going to implement is a meal prep Sunday. So we talk about how important meal prep and meal planning is, but I will be honest, I stopped planning out my meals a while ago because it comes very naturally for me. I don't have to sort of figure out my containers for the day anymore, because I know I've been doing this for 2.5 years using these containers. So it's very easy for me to figure out meals and snacks. But for these new people, it is not easy at all. So I was kind of forgetting about that. And I was saying, like, make sure you've prepped your meals for the week, and make sure you've planned out your meals. Do you know what you're having for supper? Do you know what you're having for snacks? I would sort of tell them that in posts, but I wasn't even doing that myself. So how could I expect them to do something that I wasn't? So I decided, okay, Sundays now are going to be even in like week 2, week 3, whatever. I want them to post their meal plan for me, and I'm going to post mine as well. So that means I have to actually do some meal planning, which is a good idea because it will save me quite a bit. Like, I sort of have a meal plan in my head, and I'll kind of figure out, like, okay, tomorrow night for supper, we're going to do this. But I wasn't as diligent as I should be. And I'm not as diligent as I want a new challenger to be. And that's what it comes down to. We need to be doing what we want them to do. So that's what I'm going to do this Sunday, is show them my meal plan and what it is I am eating exactly for the next week. And then I'm going to ask them to post their meal plan as well, so that we can all sort of learn from each other, which I think will help. And if they can actually make a meal plan and stick with it for the week, they are going to feel awesome that first week if they actually do that. Because I don't know how many of my challengers actually were doing that, because I never asked them to, and I never asked them to post it. So I got that idea from a call by Melanie Mitro, and she said that you can even tag them every Sunday night, the people who haven't posted it yet, like call them out, say, hey, Linda, I haven't seen your meal plan yet. Don't forget to post in the group, like just to make them accountable. So it depends kind of how strict you want to be in your challenge groups and sort of enforce those sort of things, but it's totally up to you. I think it's a good idea, but I'm definitely going to try that out.
I think that's a great idea, because I'm guilty of not doing it, and maybe it's because I'm home. And then, my nutrition lately hasn't been the greatest. And maybe that's obviously why, right? Or a huge part of why, right? Because when I do it, you stay on track and it's so simple and easy, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea. I think I'm going to do that too.
Yeah. Cause like really just think if you had a meal plan already made up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do post and I guess I'm kind of bad because I do post in the group like, hey, we're like, what's everybody's meal? Like, have you planned and prepped your stuff for the week? And I haven't even done it.
I know, right?
And then it's like, where are your posts, ladies? Is nobody prepared for the week? And then there are people and I know who they are that post, right? Like they'll post a picture of what they've prepped or whatever, which is awesome. But then it eats away at me because I haven't even done it, right?
I know.
Yeah. So I love that idea.
Yeah. I think we really need to get back to the basics. Like we really need to go back to the basics. And because we have forgotten what that was like when we were a challenger, because we were all challengers. That's how we started, right? So we kind of have to go back to that a little bit and remember how hard it was to think about like, okay, well, what am I going to eat tomorrow? Like, how am I supposed to use these containers? So yeah, it was a really kind of good gut check for me for sure. And you can set some expectations in the prep week for the challenge group. Like, what are your expectations? I expect everyone to check in once a day for sure. So I say that, I let that be known that I expect that of them, and that if I don't hear from them, I'm going to message them and just say, hey, what happened? Where are you? You committed to this, so let's do it. Also, if you, like, I know, Kate, for you, you work full time, so you can set the expectation of like when you yourself are going to check into the group. So you can let them know that, you work full time, but every evening, you will check in and you will respond to any of their messages. Just to kind of let them know if they're not seeing you throughout the day in the challenge group, that's why. And I think that's totally cool to let them know. And for me, I check into my groups for sure once a day. I like to check in twice a day just so it's less catch up at the end of the day. So I am not in there all day long responding to things. And I let them know that. Like I'll check in twice a day and I respond to everything and I'm right there with you guys, but I'm not living in this group. Like I can't and I don't want to. So, set those expectations. You don't have to be sort of reacting to every notification in your challenge group or even every private message that comes in from a challenger. You don't have to react to it. Like I've had people say, like, I'll always remember this one challenger. She was like, hi, I'm in line at Subway. Quick, what am I supposed to order? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not at your beck and call. Like, I am happy to help you, but like, I am not available. Like literally the second, like I was, because I was like, oh yeah, of course I'll help you. But I got thinking like, oh my gosh, is this what she thinks I do? Because no one is ever going to want to be a coach on my team if they think they have to live like eating and breathing these challenge groups, because that's not the case, right? Like we don't have to. So we need to set the expectations of sort of when we check in to these groups and when we respond. And then are you commenting and liking on all of your challenger stuff? I think it's really, really important that we do engage with all of them. If you aren't commenting and engaging and liking, what kind of message are you sending them? You're giving them the message that you don't care if they check in or not, essentially. So I think that I would imagine everyone is really good about checking in and responding and liking and all that stuff. But if you are giving positive reinforcement by commenting on their stuff, it reinforces that behavior. And when Melanie Mitro said this, that, you're the leader and these people want you to notice them. They want you to notice them. They want you to like praise them and say like, awesome job. Like they want that. It's almost like a little kid, right? And I thought like, okay, imagine if I was in Melanie Mitro's challenge group. I would want her to like my comment. I would want her to like say something to me, right? Because we hold these people up on pedestals. And you know what? People hold us up on those too. Like we might not think that they do, but they do. The people that are joining us kind of like have this appreciation for us. So if we take the time to be like, awesome job on your workout, or encourage them, like that kind of just like gives them a little bit of a jolt, right? Like it would if Bonnie Engel messaged me and said something to me. Like that's what it's like for them. Not obviously I'm no Bonnie. But you know what?
They're Bonnie. But it's true, because I remember my first challenge group, like I loved it when my coach like liked my post or like made a little comment, and even just a like just something so simple. I was like, oh my God, she saw what I posted. And like, it seems so cheesy, but like it makes you want to stay more accountable and do more, right? For sure.
Yeah.
I was like me. I felt like Megan's good little student. I was like, I always wanted her to like I remember my first challenge, like I meal planned everything and I like felt so good about it. And then I was like, oh, I just want Megan to be like, oh, you're doing so well.
It's even now with our posts, right? When I see Megan like it, I'm like, oh my God, she liked my post. Yes.
Oh, that's so funny. That's how people feel, right? So we need to take that and run with it. So, and that's why when we invite these people to be a coach on our team, like we should not feel like weird about that, because they're probably like, oh my God, she's actually asking me to be on her team. Like that's really cool. Like, so you should feel like that. You should feel confident and just feel like that, because that's what people think of you, whether you want to believe it or not.
It was weird. I just have a little story to share, but I was at Foodland the other day, like I live in Park Hill, so like really super small town. And I was in the grocery store lineup or whatever, and this woman who I had no idea who she was older. She's like, oh, I'm in your group. And I've almost felt like sick all of a sudden, right? And I was like, I didn't even really know what to say. And then she's like, yeah, my daughters follow you too. She's like, you know, you're like pretty popular around here. And I was like, oh my God, this is like really weird. Like it was just weird. But yeah, they're all watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay. So just to kind of like give you some sort of action things that I am now going to implement into my group, starting this challenge group. And again, this is why I wanted to do this call, is so I could get all my stuff out on paper. So I'm going to do the Sunday meal prep. I am committing to doing my own meal plan and posting my meal plan. And then the other great idea I had, you always see like the top coaches posting their meal plan on their page for other people to see. Like, how many of your followers would love to see your meal plan? So yes, you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your challengers, but you also have something to share on your page every week too, or even to give out to people that you're chatting with. Just say, well, you know what? I just created my meal plan for this coming week. Did you want to have a look at it? And you can use it for this week yourself. Like, it's something that you can send in private messages.
Megan, is that meal plan that you posted today?
Oh,
like, is that document or whatever? Did you figure out something to do with that?
No, I didn't. I spent my entire afternoon.
Can you maybe like upload it to Canva and then like?
Yeah, so I did do that, and then I was like, I hate computers, and I started typing in my breakfast for every day, and that was fine. And then I went over to lunch, and then because it was more wordy, all the font got all distorted, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna do it in paper and pen. So what I actually am going to do, and I'm going to London tomorrow, is I'm going to stop at, I think I saw them at Chapters, but I think they're anywhere, like HomeSense, any of those places. They're like the pads of paper that have the meal plan, like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and breakfast, lunch, dinner that you can have. It's like a week. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like a note.
Yeah, they have them at Chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was going to do is use that, because I don't want to create something like super fancy that people feel like they can't duplicate, right? Like, I kind of wanted to just keep it real, like me writing in pen on this paper And I was trying to print those out, but my printer wouldn't even work. So even printing out something from Google or Pinterest for people to use. Where was I going with this? But at Winners and wherever chapters, I was going to buy some of those. I've seen them smaller, and I was going to send those out as little prizes for people to use so that they can write their own meal plans on them.
So you could, like, I could go and print that blank meal plan out then and just like write on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, that would take forever, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you move it a slight, because I remember trying to do that with that diamond thing, like when we had to recreate that, that thing for the diamond group and put like our dream team on it. I moved it a slight bit away and then everything was all mixed up. So yeah.
So that is what I'm committing to doing, is every Sunday posting my meal plan. And then I love the idea of having it to give to people as well. I'm going to continue with my daily challenges, my morning daily challenge, which I've always done. I wondered if it was getting old, and I asked people in my current group, and they actually said that was the one thing that they love about my challenges is my daily challenge, because the questions that I ask them, it makes them really think. Like, I've taken some time to find some really sort of deep and personal questions to ask them, and they all have really liked kind of having to look inside themselves to find the answer. And they did say that they love reading other people's answers. So I decided, okay, you know what, I'm keeping those, and I'll try and, like, all I do is go to Google and Google like deep questions to ask women, or questions to ask a stranger, or like, and you'll get a whole list of shit. So that's what I'm going to continue doing, because I really like that too. I find I get to really know them. And because these groups are about so much more than weight loss and inches, I think that is a big, big piece of it all. It'll be like 10 minutes, Will. Do you want me to go back right there then? Where was I going with that? But then they also did say that they wanted more like physical challenges, like wall sit challenges and squat challenges and push-up challenges, because they like to see their progression. So then I thought in week 1, I might do a few times a week, like an afternoon physical type challenge, and then repeat that in week 3 so that they can compare. Like, and I'll have them like, make sure you write down how many push-ups you could do, so that in week 3, they can see, oh my gosh, I could do 5 more push-ups this time. So I might do these like kind of blitz challenges in the first and third week so that they can compare, because that's what they said they wanted. So I'm taking it and running with it. I'm also going to have them rate their day at the end of the day, because I used to sort of post like some motivational or something funny, but you know what? I don't think that they really care about that stuff. Like, they really want shit that they can learn or take away from. So I was doing like all kinds of motivating stuff, and I don't know, I think they get that enough from our posts on our own page that they don't need it in the challenge group. They want like stuff that they need to do or that they can learn, I think. So I'm going to do every night, they have to rate 1 out of 5 how their food was, how their nutrition was, and their workout. So it kind of keeps them accountable and sort of makes them reflect on the day. And so they can kind of track it, and it might kind of keep them more accountable, knowing that at the end of the night, they have to kind of admit how they did. And then, of course, I'm going to participate in all of these challenges as well. I am very much a challenger in my challenge group. I don't give out, like I used to give out prizes and tally up the points from the daily challenge. I stopped doing that, only because I do have really good engagement in my groups. But if you aren't getting good participation, definitely offer a prize in the beginning, saying, you know, you get 1 point for doing this, 2 points for that, blah, blah, blah. And whoever has the most points at the end of the group or at the end of the week gets a prize. I stopped doing that just because I felt like it was kind of getting old, and because I do have good engagement in my groups. But again, if you don't, I would definitely offer prizes. What I do is I do a challenger of the week. So I shout out once a week a challenger who is just really rocking it. Not that's like getting to their goals, but someone who is showing up. or maybe someone who has in a private message told me about some success that they had. Like someone sent me a message that she had gotten into jeans that she hadn't been in 6 months. And so I did it. She was my challenger of the week. And so I sort of pick someone new every single week, and I don't announce it in the group that I'm giving them a prize, but I do send them a card, a handwritten card, and just a little like pack of Shakeology or a little notebook or just something very small. I'll send it to them in the mail, and they're always so like excited to get that. But people don't know that they're getting it. So it's not like people are participating just to get a prize or wanting to be challenge of the week because they're going to get a prize from me. They don't even know they're getting anything. So I kind of like that little surprise in the mail for them. And then I'm going to still private message every week with these people. If I find that there's someone that needs a little bit more support, I will message them maybe every few days. And again, with videos, I'm going to really try and go in. I know with the Facebook group, it was so easy to go in with live videos. We can't do live on the app, but you still can very easily do videos and just upload them to YouTube. So that's what I'm going to just really try and focus on, and really gear the videos towards nutrition. I think I've kind of slacked on the importance of nutrition in my groups, and because that's something that I'm sort of passionate about is the nutrition, I really want to pass that along to them. I'm going to share success stories on my page, on my Fit to Be a Mama page, about my challenge groups. I do always sort of do that, but I'm really going to kind of commit to doing that because I think as a challenger, they like seeing that, like, you know, them being shouted out as long as they're okay with it, or just shouting out the success in general of the challenge group. I do weekly Zoom calls with my challengers. So every Monday night I do a Zoom call. Sometimes no one really comes on, but I still do them. And I have specific topics every week that I follow. So it's very simple. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go to my YouTube channel and just watch, or even they might be on Michelle's YouTube channel, but they're there. So you can just literally watch the dining out tips and write down what we talk about and then do your own. So I think it's a really good idea to start doing these Zoom calls once a week and just giving them some little tips. And it's just kind of more an interactive thing you can do with them. Another thing that you can do at the end of your challenge group is to have everybody sort of post their results, like how many pounds and inches were lost, and then do up like a big post about how, 25 people lost, 55 pounds in 21 days, or just posts like that are always kind of cool for everyone to see, like as a group, what everyone's success was. And then sort of what Miranda was saying with the challenge group, find information for your challenge group that is relevant to them and relevant to the time of year. So, at Christmas time, I really focused on really good posts about surviving the holidays and that sort of thing. But really, I kind of forget about that the rest of the year. But now we're getting into spring and summer's coming. So we can really gear our posts towards those types of things. And I don't know, I can't even think right now, but just around holidays and barbecues and, really wanting to get to our goals in time for summer to start, that sort of thing. So kind of take a look at where we are in the season and what kind of content you can create for your challenge groups. And have fun with them. So we don't want to get into a slump with our challenge groups, just like we all kind of admitted that we were, because it affects us, it affects our own journey, and it's going to affect our challengers. So if we aren't rocking our challenge groups, we're not going to be rocking our business really, or rocking our own physical, health and fitness journey. That's all I got.
I think those were some really, really, really good tips. And I really need to work on this weekend. My challenge starts on Monday. So now I really need to work on recreating my challenge group.
Yeah. Just go back to the basics.
I was a real copy and paster, reschedule.
Yeah. Because it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had a question for everyone about like their prep week. Like when you do a prep week, if you only have say 1 or 2 people, like are you still doing a prep week? Like I only have one, I'm just asked because I have one challenger. So I ended up doing a post on my fitness page and I just said how I was working like individually with each one because there's only one person in the group. So she would hopefully see it and think, oh, this is just strictly for her, but really there's only the one. So like if you had 2, you know what I mean? Like you want to have a lot of engagement in that prep week to sort of build them up as well. So like, what do you, like I thought about messaging you, Megan, or somebody just to be like, hey, can I throw her in yours? But then I thought, well, no, that's silly. But like, what do you do in that case?
Well, what about all your other challengers? Like your past challengers, do they do prep week again or no?
I think, well, this month it's kind of thrown me off because of the 30-day, right? Like I was doing 30 days too. So that's kind of thrown me off. Because I feel like I've messed it up where I should be starting. Like I'm on prep week now for my challenge group to start next week. But I feel like I've messed it up where next week is the last week of the challenge group that I'm doing now, right? So the one that's in prep week, I'm either just going to have to work with her individually for that week. Like she's started anyway, so it's not a big deal. And then just throw her in, say, in 2 weeks. But yeah, some of them do, like just for the accountability part, which is no big deal, I guess. But
yeah, I would just keep her in and just work closely with her. I do find prep week, the engagement is usually lower for whatever reason. There's just people just usually aren't as chatty in prep week. So it's not uncommon for my prep week to not really have any activity in there except for me. So I would just go with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she probably won't notice because you know what? She's never been in one before. So she has no idea what to expect.
Right. Yeah, you're right. So do you think, would it be a good idea just to keep her like working with her until this challenge group is done then and add her in, say, in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Or a week, I guess, a week and a half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, or whatever you think. Or if you want to bring her into mine, like whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'll just talk to her and just work with her and then add her in another week.
Yeah.
Probably is better. Yeah. No, but great tips, I think. There's a lot that I want to implement. Now, on your videos, when you're posting them, like how often are you doing videos? Because that's one thing that I lack, and I always think, oh, I should do more. And then when I do, and I think, okay, awesome. Like I'm going to do another one in a few days. And then that comes and goes and never happens.
I don't really have a schedule or anything for it. This week in prep week, I did one yesterday. I did one today. I have one I want to do tomorrow. So it's just kind of whenever. I think like once a week for sure is good. If you can do more, even if it's just a quick like check-in. I don't know. I think just it shows that you're being present.
Yeah. Now, can I ask the other ladies, like, are you guys running it on the app or on the, like, your challenge groups, or are you running it on Facebook? What are you guys doing?
All the app now. And I'm going to do all my free groups on the app too. And I just canceled my sendables yesterday because I like the app as well, that they can log their workout and their Shakeology. And I like the app, how I can schedule things. And I don't know, I just find it, like Megan, I find it just easier to schedule and it just looks nicer. And I've had some challengers that say they don't really like the app, but I think that's because I didn't really like the app when I first started. I actually hated the app, and I said, I never want to run a challenge group on the app. And it's because I wasn't used to the app, right? So I think they just have to get used to it.
I was going to say, I'm very new to all of this, so I actually really like the app. I like when Megan posts on the app because, like she said, it's all chronological, basically. Like when she posted at 6 a.m, then she posted it at 8. Like it's all just there. And like you said, I can log my workout. I can log my Shakeology. Like it is really good. So I'm in Megan's group for my first challenge group, so this will be my first time doing it. So I'm really excited for that. But the app is definitely something that I do personally like using, and I've gotten used to it. So that's why I like it now.
And I think another good point is for bringing in new coaches, you want them to get started on the app because I don't know. I just think like for Jessica, it's like we used to run all of our groups on Facebook. So for her as a new coach, this is just very simple for her to start on the app. It's the only thing she even knows. So I just think kind of the sooner you, obviously it's up to everyone, but I think the sooner you make that transition over to the app, the easier it will be for your future team because it will be the only thing that they know as well. And
not to say that I won't end up using Facebook at one point or another, but having both as an option is very ideal. I feel like.
Yeah. All right, anything else, ladies? It's late. Okay, well, that was a good call, and we will talk later. Bye, guys.
Bye.